Amazing. So I know some of you guys came on and turned your camera off. If you are comfortable, we'd love to see your faces and love to engage with you guys. So please do feel free to turn your cameras on. And as you would have noted, the event is being recorded. So if you are not comfortable with the recording and don't want to be seen or heard from, just feel free to turn your camera off and your audio off throughout. Everyone ready to get started? Perfect. Let's do it. As I said, we're very excited to have everybody here today to go over what the Atlantic Division program looks like. Today, I'm going to be guiding you through the program. Specifically, I'm also very excited to be welcoming with us here today, Jonathan Dunay, who is Head of Global Ecosystem and Member Success out of Atlantic Fintech and representing our partners out of the Atlantic region. If you don't know who I am, my name is Layal Al-Hadi, and I'm the Executive Director of Fintech Cadence. It's our organization in collaboration with Atlantic Fintech that's going to be running this program. So very excited to give you guys a little bit more information on who we are, what we do. For this specific information session, really want to thank Atlantic Fintech that had the vision and the opportunity to help create this program and really be the thought and soul behind the Atlantic provinces as well. How many of you guys have not heard of Fintech Cadence? And if you're an industry expert and put your hands up, my heart will break. Are there any of you who haven't heard of it? Okay. Well, for those of you who are brand new to what the organization is, what I will say is we're a nonprofit organization, and our whole mission and vision for the organization is to advance the financial system to serve all Canadians for the better. We started about 6 years ago with a focus on Montreal. Since then, we've expanded into Ontario, Alberta. We serve startups from Vancouver, and more excitedly, and why we're putting a lot of emphasis on today's session, we're going to be expanding in the Atlantic region with our partners, Atlantic Fintech specifically. We do three main things. The first thing is education. So you'll see we work with universities on curriculum advocacy, supporting any university student, whether they're an undergrad all the way to PhD, to get involved with startups in the fintech ecosystem. And we as well are trying to work on research commercialization. So if you hear of any really cool research happening on a university level that you think should be integrated in the fintech sector itself, that's the kind of work that we do. The second thing that we do is support organizations. I'll go through this. And that is part of why you guys are here today. Our organization provides a lot of programming that helps support startups who are in the early stages. And I know you would have heard that quite common, the early stage statements. So just to be very clear, early stage for us is anywhere from I have an idea all the way till about pre-Series A or about $1 million in raised funds. If you're post that stage, what we do is we connect you to our partners, whether they're VCs, angel investors, or what have you, just to ensure that you are supported as you develop. And then the last thing that we do is we work collaboratively with financial institutions to help grow the fintech sector and innovation happening internally in financial institutions as well. The benefit of that for our founders and our startups is that you get access to these financial institutions and you get direct communication with them to see how you can either partner with them, get acquired by them, understand their processes, or look at them as potential collaborators in the future. I would now love to hand it over to Jonathan, who's going to do a little bit of an introduction to Atlantic Fintech. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Layal. Thank you. So glad to be here with each of you today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jonathan Dunnett, as Layal mentioned in her introduction. And for those of you that I have yet to meet, looking forward to connecting with you, particularly if you see that the Fintech Hub is a good potential fit for you and your business. Whoever's controlling the slides, if you could go to the next one, that would be great. And so Atlantic Fintech is really a growth community. That's our primary focus in terms of what we are doing and want to accomplish. We have a strong vision for this region. When we first started this, it was really looking at global examples of what our ecosystem could be. And so we took inspiration from Singapore, Sydney, Australia, and from Israel in terms of population base and other variables. And if you look at rankings, those are all respectively top global fintech hubs around the world. And so both for Atlantic Canada, as well as connection to the broader fintech community across across Canada with Fintech Cadence, really we have a big vision for what this opportunity could be. And so, so our view of fintech Really, it's sort of the background and context for definition purposes. We look at folks that have relation to financial processes, and as well, there's some operational and back end portion of that as well, or that potentially you work with the financial industry more directly. And oftentimes there is good intersection of both those perspectives. And so that is sort of our working frame of our worldview, if you will, of what is fintech. If we can go to the next one, please. And so you might be saying, well, this feels like a lonely ecosystem. I must be the only one. Well, in fact, if you're thinking that or feeling that, I'd like to present some evidence that you are not, in fact, the only one. This is some recent research that we did in conjunction with Fathom Foresight. And as you can see, there's 140 companies listed here in this graphic. And there's actually, we keep meeting more sort of every week or every 2 weeks that keep adding to this. So there is a strong grouping of financial technology companies here in the region. And so again, if you were feeling I'm solo, I'm the only one, the good news is you couldn't be further from the truth. And so with that as a basis, we're really looking to build out and continue to grow our community here. And our focus really is developing and executing programs that correspond to ecosystem needs. So of course, here today, we're here to talk about Fintech Hub, which is great for pre-Series A companies. We have an additional program called Fast Runners, which is niche and focused on later stage companies that have specific needs. So if you fall into more of that category, I'd also love to chat with you about what that looks like. And upcoming, we have a mission actually to Fintech Meetup. And not so long ago, we were at Money 2020 as well. And so really, again, the focus is on bringing those programs together, as well as connection, our interface with industry, that sort of thing, to really focus on ultimately your success. And I think there's one more slide, perhaps. Yeah, and so this is who we are. And my colleague, Barb, is joining us today. And my other colleague, Alicia, has over 20 plus years of fintech experience. So she really has some great chops in this realm. And so we work every day to really focus on helping companies like yours to start, grow, and be successful. And so again, we're glad to have you here because part of that equation, of course, is Fintech Cadence and our partnership with them for Fintech Hub. And so really glad to have you here today. And I think that's all I have to say in terms of slides. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jonathan. We will give you guys an opportunity to ask questions in a little while as well. So just a quick heads up there. And so we've talked about both of our organizations. And so what is this Fintech Hub really about and what are we actually aiming to do? I do want to say that I think the partnership with both Atlantic Fintech and Fintech Cadence really makes a lot of sense because of the focus of what Jonathan has already talked about in terms of the longer term, the ecosystem in the Atlantic region and our experience with early stage startups and what we've been able to do in building a network and expertise across Canada throughout the years. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to take both organizations that are really focusing on developing the fintech ecosystem and collaborate on a program that can really add value to those who are needing it at the right time. And so we've joined forces specifically to focus on that, to make sure that you as a founder have the right information, the right support, the right knowledge, and the right network to be able to get your startup to whatever that next level looks like specifically. The fintech ecosystem can at times be very, very tough. You have to grit your teeth to get through quite a lot of the processes of it, whether it's the regulatory process, whether it's working with financial institutions, or whether it's just understanding specific technological integrations. We will be hearing from a founder in a little while as well. So we can also, have that relations in terms of then, well, how can organizations like ours help you guys solve some of those particular challenges? And that's exactly what we're trying to do here with the Hub. And so our goal really is to create an accessible and inclusive program that will allow you to access relevant support when you need it the most. I know there's a lot of text here. Don't be too overwhelmed. A couple of things for you guys that are really key to note is, first and foremost, this program is equity free. We don't take any shares whatsoever, and it doesn't cost you anything to participate on it. I'll explain to you why that's possible in a little bit, just so that you don't think this is some kind of scam, but it really is true. We do not take any shares and we don't charge you guys anything for it. It's also an on-demand program, meaning I'll be going over what all the services are that are available to you, but they're available to you when you need those services. There's no start and date in terms of you have 3 months quickly to present at the end of the demo day. There is no pressure on using those services by a particular time. Those services are open to you as soon as you enter the program specifically. So it really is for you to take ownership of what do you need, and then at best to reach out to us right away and tell us, okay, I need legal services support, which we have our partners here will be talking shortly, or I need specific access to a network, whether it's financial institutions or maybe marketing support, whatever it is. It's really an on-demand program specifically. And if there are things that you need, but you don't see them offered, then you can reach out to us and let us know, and that we will do our best to make sure that we can find what those products are and what those services are that will help you as well. And so what are these services that we give you guys? I'm going to break them down in a little bit, but for you to really understand, well, why should I be joining this kind of a program? Well, one is we provide you with industry experts who are really knowledgeable about the fintech sector, the entrepreneurship sector, and how to scale a product. And so we give you one-on-one time with these coaches to help you with either your go-to-market strategy, your business model, or any other kind of consultation you might need in the back end of your development. We also provide you with as much resources as possible, from how do I manage a team, to what does it really mean that UX UI design is important, to what does regulation really mean in the context of payments, for example. We also make sure that we open our roster of industry experts. Between both us and Atlantic Fintech, we have over 300 industry experts or mentors that can help and support you guys get into and access different networks. And last but not least, we provide you with a supporting system through Fintech Cadence and a peer-to-peer guide system as well. So you can meet with other founders to help you guys go through it. So far, so good? Yeah. Great. Want to make sure I still have your attention. So what are the services concretely that you guys can access? So the first thing is we have over 100 plus fintech founders. So if you do want peer-to-peer support, we have that. If you're trying to enter the payment space, for example, and you're wondering how do other paytechs enter that space, or how do they navigate specific components of that space, we can give you direct contact with the paytech startups. We also give you regular office hours with our industry experts. Today in the breakout rooms, you'll see a sample of what that feels like, of how industry experts can help you. We also set up networking sessions for you. If you're hiring or looking for support, we give you opportunities in career fair showcases. And we, of course, have a very robust community group on our Slack that you can also be a part of if you're part of that. If you're looking for service providers or discounts to service providers, then we have over 50 software credits, including AWS cloud services, Plaid Access, and a lot more. We also give you pro bono hours by our accounting firms and our legal partner, Osler, as well, who will be speaking in a few minutes there too. So that's really one of the key things that if you guys really need support on, you get. And last but not least, we do our best to reach out to all the conferences and events that are happening throughout the year that are fintech related to get you guys a discount. So I will tell you that if you are interested in attending the Canadian Fintech Summit, for example, happening in Toronto on April 18th and 19th, we do have a discounted ticket available to all founders, industry experts. You guys get a different discount. Marina will be in touch with you for that shortly. So if you are a founder and interested, my team on the chat right now will put a link for you just to indicate your interest, and we'll make sure that you guys get those discounted tickets. So that's just an example of some of the things that we support you with in terms of discounts and services. And then last but not least, when it comes to our learning and resources, we do have a library of learning material, as well as workshops that have been recorded in the past and webinars. We also offer new ones throughout the year. And we also do a lot of lunch and learns with either past founders, current founders, or different industry experts. And last but not least, in the learning and resources pile, we have a fire newsletter that's done by Belinda, who is on the call here as well. And that newsletter shows all the opportunities that are happening, as well as things for you guys to keep your eye out on as well. So we really try and centralize all of that information so it's not overwhelming to you, but that you guys have access to it. As part of that, one thing I do want to spend a bit of time highlighting is the expert office hours that you guys will have. So we've mentioned that already. You'll be meeting with our industry experts that you get one-on-one time. But just to give you an idea of some of the expertise that we have experts that come in from either customer service, market validation and understanding. We do have technology experts. So if you're trying to develop any products in machine learning or blockchain, we have people in that space. Whether it's in crypto as well. If you're even looking for support for mental health, being a founder is very, very tough. We also have experts in that area as well. If you're looking for the marketing component, the branding, the SEO, or if you're looking for the HR components, we have that. So any expert that you can think of, we can hopefully connect you to. And if for some reason you stump us and you ask for specific expertise that you don't see on the list or that we don't have, we will do our best to delve into our network to ensure that you guys are connected with them. I did go over the newsletter as well a few seconds ago, but I do want to let you guys know in detail what is covered. So we do talk about what events and discounts are available. We let you know what's happening in the ecosystem, specifically around fintech and tech. We also let you know if there are funding or grants available to you, any upcoming workshops, and any opportunities and news that are happening within that space as well. So the newsletter really is, like I said earlier, a centralized data point for all of that information. And since I've already gone over the software providers, you'll have access to this in the deck that we'll be sending afterwards. But if you do want to know what discounts you can get, we do have it all available on our website too, under the hub there. If you are interested in participating in the hub and are looking for support, I can't imagine why you wouldn't, but if you are looking to talk and just get a little bit more understanding of what is happening, then we do have 3 stellar team members that are focused specifically on this program. You've already met Jonathan. I mentioned Belinda earlier, who gave you guys a wave. And of course, we have Marina, who is our industry expert facilitator as well. So we have an excellent team that will be able to help and guide you, and will also be able to tailor any support that you guys need one-on-one. So who are we particularly looking for, or who can get access to the program itself? So we're looking for startups who have validated a problem they're trying to solve. You have at least one full-time person working on the solution. This is something that we can discuss. If you guys are both, if you have 2 co-founders and 2 of you guys are part-time and you're really looking to see how can you become full-time, that is something we can help you out with as well. You have to be operating in Canada. That is just the way our network and our knowledge base has been developed. I will state here, though, and highlight Atlantic Fintech does have a lot of expertise and experience globally, so they can also support you in that process. And last but not least, you haven't passed a Series A funding or over $10 million in ARR. Not that we wouldn't want you. Actually, we'd probably connect with you to see how you can help our other founders, but it's probably this particular program is not the best suited for you there. Any questions so far, or was that just crystal clear? Crystal clear. Okay, I see my team is giving me thumbs up. I want to make sure, and Jen, I want to make sure the founders are all good. Any questions about the program here at all for the founders that are on the call? No? Super clear. Okay, then without further ado, we have 3 guest speakers that we want to bring up really quickly to be able to introduce the different components and the different areas of the program that they're involved with. First, I would love to call Liliana Corsi, who is a lawyer and one of our biggest advocates with Osler. Osler has been a huge champion for the fintech ecosystem over the last few years, and we were very lucky to start working with them over the last 2 or so years, if I'm not mistaken, or I inflate numbers sometimes. And they have been really expertly handling all the startups that they work with and that we send through. So if you are looking, even if you're not part of this program, if you are looking for legal support in the fintech space, highly recommend Osler. And hopefully, Liliana, I didn't take up too much of that thunder, and I'm going to hand it over to you so that you can the work you guys do.
You've been wonderful, Eyal. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It's so nice to meet you all. And hi, Jennifer. It's good to see you again. How have you been? It was a pleasure, such a treat for Osler to be involved in the process of helping out the fintech and startups coming to us for guidance in the legal spectrum. We've been helping them by answering simple questions. We've organized calls on Teams with them to address questions like, do I need to incorporate myself? I have this great idea with my co-founder or my partner. Where do I need to incorporate and what are the conditions? And what we did was to accompany the founders in building up their corporate structure. So we've incorporated them. Then we put it in place, all the documentation that is required from a VC-backed perspective. We have a great startup package that we can offer that includes all the reference or all the necessary corporate documentation, shareholders agreements and employment agreements, independent contractor agreements. And it's been such a treat to see those great ideas coming to life. And then the second step after we set up the startups with all the documentation and the required corporate structure, we're there to answer questions regarding all the regulatory requirements. Do I need to get a permit? Do I need to comply with that restriction or requirement and whatnot? And of course, if everything goes well, you will have your first investors coming in willing to support your endeavor further. And we're there to accompany you, to prepare the documentation and to make sure that you're all aligned with the investors, and the investors coming on board will continue to support your project. I don't know if Natalie has joined. Yeah, she's there. Natalie Beauregard. She's a partner here with our office in Montreal. We're based in Montreal, but we have offices in Vancouver, in Calgary, and Toronto with great resources. And Natalie, I'm handing it over to you if you'd like to add something.
Just a note, Leanne, I think that Natalie's screen is frozen, so she might not be
okay, not a problem. So all that to say is that it's not a one-woman show or a one-man show. We have a team of dedicated professionals, experts in their fields, and we're here for you. So it was just a question of letting Lael know, the Fintech Cadence know, or reach out to us directly to say, I have a question and I'd like to talk to someone, and we'll find the best expert in the field to have that discussion with you. So please don't hesitate at any time to reach out. It will be a pleasure for us to be there for you.
That's amazing, Liliana. Thank you very, very much. And further proof.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Further proof of the support that Osler always provides the fintech ecosystem. So thank you for coming in today and letting everyone know the services that are available. I now want to bring up Jennifer McDonald. Jennifer McDonald. So Jennifer McDonald is a fractional COO. She has extensive experience in building a fintech. She has worked with Mocha, acquired by Mogo, formerly Mocha. Apologies. I just talked to Phil as well last week, and I should know this by heart at this point. Jennifer has been a long advocate for the fintech ecosystem as well, and has been an industry expert with Fintech Cadence for an incredible number of years, I think from the very early days, first few years at least, and has been a mentor to the leadership team as well at Fintech Cadence, and been very big support there too. So Jennifer, I'm going to bring you up as well, just to give you a chance to talk about what your experience is like as an industry expert.
Thanks, Lael. It's great to be here, and I'm especially excited about this partnership with Atlantic Fintech, because my background, I think you didn't know this, Lael, but my background was I studied in Halifax and have kind of roots in the Atlantic region. So I'm really excited to see this kind of collaboration. I'm also married to a Cape Brettoner, if that
that counts, I think.
North of Smoky every summer.
Amazing. And Jennifer, can we get into a little bit of the experience of why you got involved with the fintech ecosystem, and why you think it's really key to support founders at this stage?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our relationship with Fintech Cadence goes back several years now, and at Mocha we always benefited from the different programs that Fintech Cadence was operating, from career fairs to networking events and helping to build those connections. So it's a longstanding relationship. I really believe in, as operators have success in fintechs, that we have an opportunity to give back to the ecosystem as well. Personally, I really appreciate having the opportunity to work with up and coming startups that are working on really cool ideas, and can have the benefit of talking to people who have built in the space before, and things that can work and that might turn into challenges. So that's been really rewarding to be part of. And I also really appreciate that Fintech Cadence is a big tent with a focus both on inclusive fintech as well as looking at how to bring founders coming from different places and with different perspectives into the space and supporting them. So.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Jennifer. I know you've been with a startup at the early stages and you've seen startups develop and get through all the way to the acquisition. So what's one thing you think that startups should be focusing on at this stage specifically, and how can they specifically leverage industry experts to get that knowledge?
Yeah, I think the founders that are most successful are the ones that really build a pit crew of people who can support them, and that they can learn from experiences. So whether that's you're growing your team and you need to figure out how to structure it so that you've got the right talent to get you where you're going, or figuring out how to navigate some of those partnership relationships that are going to get you to the next level, or support on putting together your fundraising strategy. There are others that have done it, and the founders that are successful are the ones that are really hungry for reaching out for that expertise. Ultimately it's your ship and you're the captain, but if you can rely on some of the experiences of others, to help you navigate your best course, then that's going to make it more effective.
Perfect, Jen. And maybe one last question to kind of round off the experience. And of course, everyone here will be able to speak to Jennifer in a little bit as well in the breakout sessions. We know that one-on-one sessions can take different forms. So in your experience, what is the best way that you guys, that founders and industry experts can start focusing these calls in the formats that will be most efficient for the founders specifically?
Yeah, I think I have kind of maybe 3 recommendations. The first one is to be quite intentional about what problem you're looking to solve at that moment. So, bring that focus of like, this is the one nut that I need help cracking at this stage. Second is, people who are helping you or giving you ideas are only going to be as effective as, the kind of visibility that they have. So, more context helps. Like if you ask general questions, you'll get stuff that might or might not be a fit for you. But if you're able to, crack open the hood a little bit more and go more in detail, or share things that are beyond the specific problem that's context for your business, then you'll get better advice out of those people. And the third thing is, just that, like, we've experimented with a few different formats with some of the companies that I've been speaking with, and the thing that seems to work the best is setting up a program over a certain number of sessions. So you kind of define the program at the outset, and then you do like a bit of a deep dive. And I like getting background materials in advance if you have it. Like, it's not a requirement, but like prepping for the session, coming in, doing a deep dive on that, setting up a couple of follow-ups that you're going to be driving forward, and then we reconnect on a cadence of like every couple of weeks or something like that, that's preset, so you don't have to feel like startup life overcame me and I am now knee deep in something else, and I'm not I haven't made the progress that I'd hoped to. Like, you have sort of a cadence that you're coming back to follow up on. Those have been some of the things that have helped with some of the companies I've worked with.
That's amazing, Jennifer. Thank you. As always, excellent insight, and kudos for using cadence in a sentence. We always love it when we see that happen. Thank you very, very much, Jen. I'm now going to move it to Jonah. Jonah is the co-founder at MIQ. Really excited to be able to invite him onto the call today. Jonah has incredible experience in building a fintech. And Jonah, just a little shout out to you. I was at an event in Ottawa yesterday and I kept mentioning you, and everyone's like, yes, we know Jonah. We have big hopes for him. So your reputation precedes you. So welcome, Jonah. Can you introduce yourself to everybody here who's on the call and tell us a little bit more about MIQ as well?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So my name is Jonah Chininga, co-founder and CEO of MIC. So for us, we are building a community neobank to enable newcomers coming to Canada to be able to access credit. We started the company from personal experiences as immigrants with limited access to credit, and we thought that infrastructure could be better. So that's how we saw the opportunity, and then that's what we've been building towards.
That's amazing. And I know the value-driven work that you're doing is also creating a lot of ripple waves and helping people who are focused on helping the financial health of Canadians. So kudos to you for focusing a fintech product on that. How has your experience been with Fintech Cadence? I know it's Fintech Cadence asking you, not to put you on the spot there, but also as transparent as possible to let every one of our founders know how that experience has been for you.
Yeah, no, for us, it was huge. Just a personal story. We started a fintech business straight from university. So you can imagine the limited experience that we had in terms of industry connections, as well as the industry knowledge specific to fintech and financial services in large. So the Fintech Cadence program had a community, if I would say, of founders, investors, regulators, and industry experts. And then they bring those people together. And it was really easy to navigate from questions that we had, also trying to build partnerships. I think the biggest thing for us was being able to bring partnerships that we'll be able to use inside Champion. So, for example, we're looking to build partnerships with credit bureaus. How do we navigate that process? Because if anyone is trying to build a partnership with the credit bureaus, they're one of the hardest ecosystem partners to have because a lot of due diligence. So the advisors and the network really helped us navigate that process, which was really huge for us.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Jonah. And yes, definitely available to everybody that's there. Through the programs and side connections you've undergone with Fintech Cadence, you've also been coached by some of our mentors and industry experts. Can you perhaps shed a little bit of light on your experience about meeting the industry experts and how that's impacted your business?
Yeah, no, definitely. I still remember, I think one of my favorite conversations was with Hannah. So Hannah is the Chief Compliance Officer at Simple. So she was really helpful, really hands-on when we we're really building our product from ground up, really being able to navigate the payments regulations, which is a bit tricky for our product because we're in between payments and securities. So how do you navigate that process? And I think having kind of like people who have done it before, being able to extend their knowledge and expertise was really helpful. Also being able to have people like from Fintech who are joining the calls, the sessions, being able to provide clarity, right? Because sometimes with regulations, it's just a website, and sometimes you need context, you need clarity to be able to navigate that process. So for us, that was really huge. And then as well as being able to connect with some of the industry experts as advisors. So one of them was Abhishek. Abhishek was the product manager at TransUnion, and he became an advisor directly to our company because TransUnion is a partner within an ecosystem that we're trying to build from a credit building perspective. So having those people who are in these larger organizations working directly with the fintech that's just starting, and then being able to navigate in terms of how do you build partnerships, but then also how do you build new models, innovative models that are going to change the life of new Canadians coming to Canada.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Thank you very much for that precision, Jonah. And then we'll end on this question here, and that is around any tips or tricks that you have for incoming founders that are looking to get support from Fintech Cadence and Atlantic Fintech on their entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah, no, I would say a big thing for us that worked for us was being able to do research. You're going to meet a pool of industry experts, but then every fintech business is different. Every model is going to be different. So really identifying what help you need and then doing your research on those industry experts. So whether you're in the payment space, you're in the cybersecurity space, you're in the crypto space, really being able to do the research and then come up with your needs before you jump into those meetings. I think that was really helpful. Also, the second thing is ask questions. Sometimes you think that you're asking a dumb question, but then if you're a fintech providing an innovative solution, probably something is dumb about your solution because no one has done it before, but then you're trying to validate that idea. So really ask your questions and then really see kind of like how you can be able to navigate that. And then the last piece I would say is leverage the experience of other founders within the cohort. For us, we joined the Fintech Cadence 2021 cohort, and it was really insightful being able to have the likes of Seedwall, who were providing an insurance-based business. We had Benji. So having those different founders, whereby like the questions between founders are relatable, right? Oh, hey, I'm trying to build a partnership with a bank. How do I go about it? I'm trying to build a partnership with this credit bureau. How do I go about it? We are all going through the similar challenges. And then as well as you're looking to raise your pre-seed round, your seed round, being able to share those experiences or networks, extension networks to each other, I think was really helpful. So I'd really advise asking questions as well as leveraging the cohorts that you have around you.
That is wonderful advice. Couldn't have said it better myself, Jonah. So thank you very, very much. Here representing MIC, not MIQ. So apologies for that earlier. I really want to thank you for that. I want to thank Jennifer McDonald as well as Liliana from Osler. So thank you guys all very, very much for coming in and giving a little bit of your experience and opportunities of what the founders can get. We are now going to wrap up the portion of information sharing, and it's going to be your opportunity to speak. We do have an incredible roster of industry experts that have very generously volunteered their time today to meet with you guys. Perfect. When I see smiling faces when you guys come back, that's gold. So I'm just going to wrap up very, very quickly. Thank you guys for your patience on the process. I know we wanted to end at 1 o'clock, so the last round was a little bit shorter, but of course, as part of the program, you guys will be able to meet with more, and you can always contact them following that as well. So very quickly, what are the next steps? You can apply if you're interested on F6S. All of the information is on there. The application is just to get general information. Don't be intimidated, by the way, when we say application. We will then reach out to you. We will be talking to Jonathan and Belinda, getting to know you guys a little bit more and seeing right away what we can start supporting you on. And then you guys start getting that access to the services. You'll meet industry experts, you'll get all the discounted things that we talked about, you'll have a peer network to support you, and you'll be able to hang out with us on all the fun times too. And then of course, we'll be doing a check-in with you guys every 6 months or so, just to make sure you guys are getting all the support that you guys need. So before you guys leave, make sure you take either a screenshot of what you're seeing here in case you guys have any questions. We'll also put it on the chat so that you guys can reach out. And then of course, everything is available on the website, both at Fintech Cadence's side and Atlantic Fintech's side. So